I think this week too in the SEC, just like last week, we might have start to get some separation and start to get some of those SEC teams out of the filter. I know when we do the bracket every week, it's like, bull crap. You can't have that many SEC teams. It's just for right now. Like, they're going to continue to cannibalize themselves. And this week, Oklahoma and Ole Miss is going to be that one to start with, right? Like, whoever loses is going to fall well out of contention, which means other teams are going to continue to slide up. And then, Brent, everybody won't be as upset.
Well, it's one where if you were predicting what it would be, you wouldn't predict 6 SEC teams to be there.
No.
Like, it's just not going to happen. But if you're just looking at sort of where the college football world is today, okay. And our nugget platter game, our game we all want to see, is Ole Miss, Oklahoma. And actually, the point that you bring up, I think, is probably the first actual talking point about this game. This is not a loser leaves town match. This is your margin for error is basically gone.
Yes.
You have to run the table. And looking at the schedules, who can afford to lose this game and potentially still run the table? I think that's more so Ole Miss than Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma's schedule is a little tougher down the road, but Oklahoma is last I checked, 4.5 point favorite. So this is at Oklahoma.
Yeah. Which again, that's where you always start, but Ole Miss, they've been in a lot of close games this year. That's one thing to note. Like, obviously the LSU was a big win. We'll continue to look at that because is LSU near as good as we thought they were? I'm going to say no. Like, I'm not.
They might crater.
Yeah, they might tank, and who knows? But Ole Miss is 5 of their 7 games have been decided by 8 points or less, and they're 4-1 in those games. Those numbers don't usually hold true. Like, and there's a lot of teams that are like that. There's a lot of teams that have done that. But last week we saw them against Georgia. Man, crisp. The passing game was good. You better have a timing, rhythm passing attack against OU because they're going to get to you. Venables wakes up and blitzes. Like, that's how he starts his day, right? Like, and I think the Lane Kiffin, if you haven't heard it, like, fantastic. We'll probably put it on Podium Kings, just, talking about the signs with Venables, and that's been talked about for years, years. And how people have handled those are very unique. I can't wait to watch how Ole Miss handles it because the way to handle that is to go, quickly up to the line of scrimmage, make a call and go. The way to handle that is to hide your personnel a little bit, move, shift. And I remember Ohio State doing it so well against Clemson in the champion or in the bowl game. But that's one of the things I'll be watching is how they handle that. But Oklahoma, man, like 9 points per game. Like, and you think about them a year ago, like how good they were and the offense kind of wasted it. This year, obviously, the offense much better. So it's helping them out. And I think I liked what I saw from Mateer last week. It wasn't perfect, and it wasn't John Mateer, John freaking Mateer, but it was John Mateer. It was much better. It was more accurate. The ball wasn't still elite of elite, but they got the running game going. They got him going a little bit, and I think that's a good sign going into a big game.
Yeah, we talked about the running game stuff on Monday, but if you look at sort of first 4 weeks, Mateer had an 86.4 passing grade, PFF passing grade. It's 36.6 the past 2 weeks. It's down to 60% completion. And that now some of it is Texas and their defense, but that average depth of target went from 8.5 to 6.5. So the balls, they're trying to protect him. The ball's out quick, that sort of stuff. But the running game is going to matter. But the point you said about Venables and blitz, I wonder if that's like his phone, like his alarm when his phone is some sort of sound that's a blitz-like sound, or it just says blitz really loud or something like that.
He's one of the most unique personalities I've ever met in the sport. Let me tell you, I mean, like, he is very, very unique. Like, very, I mean, listen, I'm weird too, but like very.
Is he John Fabris like?
Yes, him and John Fabris get along really, really well for that reason. Like, extremely intense, extremely, like, he's got a cool personality and he can kick it a little bit, but a little bit. Like, it's business. Like, it's a business trip. It's a business practice. Like, That's why him taking over play calling duty. And when you watch the defense, they play with a little extra edge, man. That's what Clemson needed to get over the top. You take on the personality of your coach, man, and to have your lead guy having that much juice and everything being so important. That's why they're giving up, leading the nation and giving up 231 or 13 yards a game. That's why they got 28 sacks. Like, they play with an extra edge, and one of the best defensive minds versus Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. were some of the best offensive minds. They dominated Kirby Smart for 3 quarters. That fourth quarter might get taken a peek at a little bit by Venables, and I'm fascinated to see this because Ole Miss could lose 2 in a row. I actually think they do. I think OU wins this football game. You know, them being at home, I think their coverage will be because of the pressure. It will look different, but I just don't think the running game was abandoned last week by Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. Man, you can't do that versus Venables. Like, you can't do that versus OU. It's going to end badly, and I think Oklahoma's going to take care of business this week.
I actually have Oklahoma winning as well. In the part you talked about pressure and blitzing and all that. So Trinidad, Chambless, is one of 2 quarterbacks in the Power 4 whose passing grade is as good or better under pressure than it is in a clean pocket. And like, he played really well outside of like one late throw that he just missed to the tight end against Georgia short, but played really well in that environment because much was made about him playing in a big time environment for the first time on the road like that. Got that sort of under his belt. Now he goes here. Can he handle that this week? I agree. I think Oklahoma gets them a little too much. I got 26-24. I do think it's really close. I don't think either team gets in the 30s. And I do think Oklahoma wins as well.
I got it 27-17. I actually think Oklahoma's going to roll. I think they're going to take care of business.